Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. I thought about doing this video on my other channel and just going in on this pastor, but I changed my mind. I just want to have a serious, intelligent discussion about this situation. So you have a pastor by the name of Mark Burns. He's been going around the country supporting Donald Trump, cooning, tap dancing, shucking and jiving for Trump. Much like how those women, those two black women, are doing, putting on a minstrel show for Trump. This man has been a speaker at the Republican National Convention. He's been on all these news networks and all that stuff, given a large platform to voice his support for Donald Trump, to voice support for a man who engaged in housing discrimination, to voice support for a man who inflamed racial tensions in New York City by taking out a full-page ad calling for the reinstatement of the death penalty to be used against the suspects in the Central Park rape case. Suspects who were exonerated later on. Suspects who were forced to make false confessions and who were later exonerated. This pastor has been going around the country supporting a man who encouraged his supporters to attack Black Lives Matter protesters at Donald Trump's rallies. This is the man that Mark Burns supported. This man has been given all kinds of access to media. This man has been given a large platform. And this man has recently been exposed as a fraud, as a liar, as a charlatan, as a joke. See, recently he tweeted out a cartoon of Hillary Clinton. This cartoon depicted her in blackface and in a minstrel image. It depicted her as being supportive of Black Lives Matter and pandering to the black community and talking about how she has hot sauce in her purse. The cartoon was funny to me, and I think that it was accurate. And I could go into detail about that, but if you've seen my videos about my assessment of Hillary Clinton, you know exactly where I'm coming from. I don't support her, and I damn sure don't support Donald Trump. But when I saw that cartoon, I thought that it was an accurate cartoon. So many people were offended by the cartoon, and because of that cartoon, that pastor, Mark Burns, received a lot of negative attention in the media, and he eventually took down the picture and the tweet and all that stuff. But he's become under heavy scrutiny afterwards. So people investigated his credentials. On his website, he said that he was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. It turns out that he was not. On his website, he claims that he served 6 years in the Army Reserves. It turns out he did not. Instead, he served in the South Carolina National Guard. This man said that he graduated from North Greenville. It turns out he did not graduate from that university. It turns out he only spent a semester at that university. This man claims that he attends Anderson Theological Seminary and that he's pursuing his master's. It turns out that this man is not attending that seminary. This man is fraudulent. Everything about him is a lie and a joke. This man presents himself as a pastor, but he doesn't have much of a congregation. It's only a few people in his congregation. For the most part, this man is a televangelist. He is not an actual pastor. But the Republican Party and Donald Trump had no problem putting this man on a national stage. They had no problem parading him before the American people as if he was some kind of actual leader or some kind of representative of the black community when he is not either a representative of the community or a leader. This man doesn't lead anything. And that's the problem with these Republicans in the Republican Party. They are so eager to counter that image that they are a racist white party that they will put out there any kind of token to create the illusion of inclusion. That's what they do. That's what they specialize in. So during the last election, from what I remember, most of the people in the Republican National Convention were white in the audience. But on stage, they paraded out in front of the people a whole bunch of token house Negro puppets. That's what they do. This man has no credentials. This man is a complete joke. But they had no problem putting him on a national platform, putting him on CNN, putting him on all these news networks, putting him before the national convention as if he represented some kind of powerful voice when nobody really even knew what this clown was. He wasn't a self-made leader or anything like that. He was somebody appointed and put in position to influence people, to persuade gullible, foolish black people to vote for Donald Trump, to ease the fears of white moderates, fears of being associated with a racist like Donald Trump. That's what people like this Negro pastor are designed to do. The fact that the Republican Party didn't investigate this man, didn't verify his credentials, that speaks volumes alone. It tells you what kind of party they are. And not only that, not only do they put up these unqualified, illegitimate tokens before the people, they actually put on a show just like the Democrats do. If you saw one of my last videos about that memo that the Democratic Party issued about Black Lives Matter, you could see the utter disrespect that they have for black people. But Donald Trump recently had a whole script written out for his meeting with pastors in Detroit. It was a script of pre-prepared answers and questions and answers, where it had questions that were supposed to be posed to him and it had the answers already written out. So instead of having a real dialogue with the black community, what you had was a performance. What you had was a damn circus. This is how these two parties treat black people. They treat us with utter disrespect and disregard. That's how they treat us. And people need to bear this in mind when they go to the polls this November. They need to seriously look at these two parties for what they are. These parties had no respect for us, and it's time for us to look for other options.